Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's your man, God of Dots, man. We are back. Freestyle Fridays. Let me get this out of the way. Hope everybody's had a very good week. Took yesterday off to watch the beginning of the NBA Finals. Yeah, game was over at half, but anyway. But we're here, man, with Freestyle Friday show. I'm going to bring you some sports related stuff and kind of, I know how we do the shows over here. Give me just a second. There's one more thing that I wanted to kind of pull up. Let me make sure I got the article ready while I'm doing that. But anyway, big shouts out to those. Miss Merv, Dr. Nikki, how you doing? Speak Greasy up in the bit. Speak. What's up, man? What's up? Showing people that you multi-talented. You putting a lot of pressure on us, brother. I'm starting to feel like starting to feel like the officer, man. Fumbling and stumbling over my words and all that good stuff. But anyway, we're going to start out. I got two videos I wanted to, kind of get the ball rolling as far as the conversation is going. And let me do this just in case anybody wants to come up. As I kind of get into the commentary. Yeah, Speak, man. Come on, man. We don't need that, bro. We don't need that. We don't need that. Now I got to go out here and grow watermelons and shit. But let me get to the first video. It's a clip, and the theme of tonight's show is you saw the title WNBA and Caitlin Clark problem, and this has become a very hot topic, particularly this week. We've come in. We're revisiting Jesus Christ, John. Get it together, man. Before 10 o'clock, we are coming back to this topic. We've talked about Caitlin Clark and her impact as far as the NBA and WNBA and how they're propping her up, and it's become like a major point of contention on sports talk radio, sports news in regards to her treatment, or how she's being treated as a rookie in the WNBA. You have those that feel like she's being targeted. You have those that feel like she's being singled out for whatever reason. And, you've had, some people in some of the social media spaces claiming that it's racial, that, the black girls are hating on her and that kind of stuff. And then you have those that feel like, hey, this is part of the game. This is what happens to rookies when they come into the league. They get tested by the veterans, especially when you have a rookie who comes in with as much hype and publicity as she has come into the WNBA. Now you had those pundits, those so-called experts thinking, "Oh, all right, let's get into it. Let's get into it. What's going on, Speak Greasy?"
What's going on, Dots?
Man, what's growing grapes and salmon? Like, goddamn, man. I'm up here with a damn Renaissance, man.
Hey, them grapes had me hyped, man, because I went out there, just throwing water. I was like, wait a minute, that looked like a joint.
Yeah.
I said, hold on. So I was a little excited about that. Pardon me for sharing the goodness.
Oh, no, you good, man. You good. But before we kind of get into it, I'm gonna get your thoughts on them, because I got two clips, and they give very different points of views in regards to her treatment. I think the first one everybody's kind of seen, but the second one I don't think a lot of people have seen because it hasn't really been talked about, and I really want to get into that one. How do you feel about her treatment so far, her rookie season? Has it been fair, or have they targeted her with the physical play?
The media is not being fair. The players are being absolutely fair.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, you're not playing against people who got getting a degree in social work anymore. You playing against people who got a degree in hoops. Like, you know what I mean? Trying, like, everybody in the WNBA can hoop.
Yeah.
The people you was cooking in college averaging 28, yeah. Most of them, 98% of them wasn't going to the WNBA. They just weren't good enough like you were. So, but now that you're in the company of people that got just as much skill as you, I don't think Caitlin Clark got a problem with it. It's just the way the media, like, oh, why y'all doing that? Like, well, fuck you mean why we doing that? You got to show and prove.
Yeah, I haven't been liking the media coverage of it, and it seems like it's mostly been, shame on the WNBA players for going after her. You should be grateful that she's getting this so much attention. And I'm like, I mean, her success and popularity is going to be tied to winning at the end of the day. If she's on the
Right.
sorry teams, you're not winning championships, no one's going to care in a year. It's just like to me, it's like you're dragging out an unnecessary storyline, and trying to portray her to be some weak little deer in there with the lions and the wolves, and I'm not feeling it. But let me get into this clip real quick before we kind of get started, and then I'm gonna get into the next one, because the next one, it gives a different kind of view on it. Am I got it queued up? Oh yeah, I'm queued up. Let's go here. All right, first clip right here.
Championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that, because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. It all started.
All right, Speak Greasy. Thoughts, thoughts and opinions on what you just heard. To a degree, I kind of agree with her as far as like the media coverage. Because Iowa LSU, that rivalry in women's college basketball was probably the biggest story as far as college basketball, men or women's, over the past 2 years. But why the need to go for the villain role? I didn't understand that.
Yeah, that's kind of tough. But again, we gotta understand that's a young person. Like that, much like the fellas, is a young lady who still has a lot of maturing to do as far as what's happening right now. You know what I mean? Because y'all rookies and y'all are bringing things, with eyes to the table, but the eyes that's coming to the table is coming to the table to see if you could do what you was doing in college with these other girls. And
Yeah.
y'all rookies, and it's not happening. Caitlin Clark was averaging 28 in college. She averaging 15 now. It's cut in half. That's not what people are paying for.
Well, I mean, I think people who haven't been watching women's basketball, especially WNBA, they don't realize a lot of these players that are in the WNBA. You're talking about former national players of the year, former All Americans. Like, you're not going against the Brian Scalabrinis of the world. A lot of these girls, young ladies, these women were stars in their own right. They
Yep.
just didn't get the pub for whatever reason. You can chalk it up to being in a different era, because I don't look at Caitlin Clark as being more talented than Diana Taurasi.
No.
By a long shot.
No. Tarasi is she? Hey, check her stats. That's it.
Yeah, she
In
one
the
of them ones.
WNBA.
Yeah, you got two-time MVP, two-time champion Asia Wilson just now starting to get the notoriety, and she's been dominating the WNBA since she's come in. I think the casual fan who was expecting Caitlin Clark to be lighting it up, you're going to be disappointed if you thought she was going to come in and get 28, 30 a game on these grown, and that's, I think they missed that too. These are grown women. These are not
Veteran women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are you playing pro ball?
Yeah, Doc, look, like we talking about grown women who've been there and done that. Caitlin Clark's still young. She still got a lot to learn, but you going up against you. How old is Caitlin? Like 19, 20?
No, I think Caitlin's 20 or 21, one or the other.
Yeah, you going up against 26-year-olds that been in the league, strong, been down with the regiment, ain't been doing no homework. Their job is basketball. You're going to struggle, and every night you're going up against somebody who's willing to say, you ain't all that, and I'm going to show you why. Every single night. That's tough to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and people, the casual fan, the team she's on had the number 1 pick for a reason. They're bad.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. They wasn't winning when she got there, before she got there. And it's going to take some time for Caitlin to find her niche. But, bro, she's not the best player in the league by far.
No.
At all.
No.
Not even close.
And but they had those thoughts in their head. They thought she was going to come in and dominate like that. And you watch WNBA enough to know, hey, a lot of these teams that are winning, they got 3 or 4 Caitlin Clarks on the roster.
Yeah,
you don't see. I can't recall a team that was just led by one particular superstar that was just carrying teams to the champ. It don't happen like, especially in the WNBA.
Yeah. It can't. Nope.
They don't look at her team like they're bad. They were bad. That's why they had the number 1 overall pick. They're bad. They're performing to expectations right now. But it's another angle I wanted to kind of look at this because, we talk about, they're talking about Caitlin Clark and the physical play and all of that. But, she's not the only rookie with the, getting the physical play. And I wanted to start with Angel Reese because, she's been getting kind of roughed up too.
Right.
But they're not talking about it. And I want to play this clip because I wasn't thinking about it like this, but it kind of, you'll see what I'm talking about. Let me kind of get it together. Yeah. And fair use and all that good stuff, people. But yeah, check it out.
There was an incident recently. Alyssa Thomas, who happens to be African-American, grabbed Angel Reese by the throat and threw her to the floor. Flagrant 2, ejected from the game. The reason why that doesn't spark as much conversation isn't just that Caitlin Clark is a bigger star than Alyssa Thomas. It's because it's a black on black incident.
Wow.
And you don't have that dynamic that people can comment on, yes, but also exaggerate and make the entire story sometimes.
And also,
that is really that is between
no
the
one
lines.
cared about the WNBA when women of a certain color were beating up and bruising each other because it's been happening since the league's inception. We have this star, this person that people love. They want to protect her. So now the new fans and the new analysts and the new people have so much to say. Bob, thank you for saying that and acknowledging that because you're a legend in the sport. And you are also gracious enough to say, look, I'm not an expert in the WNBA, but what I do know from the history and what I do know, this is why she is being treated this way.
Yes,
and why no one
because I've seen it in every sport.
I mean,
a newcomer is tested and to some extent resented.
I mean, what's wrong with players being aggressive to a certain degree,
but not the way
Look,
Kennedy Carter was. That was a flagrant foul.
There's a process for that, and the game handles that by penalizing the player.
Sure.
Why does it have to be jealousy?
That's what I have asked this question. I'm sorry. I'm livid. My blood is boiling. I've been so angry about this topic all day because it's so simple to make women versus women a conversation, but it's just so simple. There should be more layers to this sport. If you're really going to welcome yourself to the WNBA and cover it and talk about it, can we be more than just jealous? Can there be some real true competition? Can they just be athletes?
I know you're speaking generally because I didn't.
That's not where you're coming from at all. He and I have had this conversation, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
I don't know. Why is it so simple?
I think it'd be foolish to say that resentment and jealousy are not part of the mix because those are human emotions.
Sure.
But to elevate that above everything else and discard everything else in a complicated dynamic, that's the wrong way to go.
Correct.
All right. Thoughts. Because I wasn't thinking of it in that kind of angle because to me, it was just like, we're talking about the foul, Alyssa Thomas grabbing Angel Reese by the throat, chucking her to the ground. I just looked at that, that's rough play. That reminds me of 90s Knicks basketball with that move. But you know, is that part of the reason why those kind of incidents are not getting the kind of coverage? Because it's like looked at as like black on black crime. I mean, in the essence, I think so.
Hell, man, Doc. Let me take Doc. Listen. The top 5 scorers in the WNBA are what? They're all black.
Yeah.
Each and every single one of them. When last time in the NBA we was talking about somebody who averaged 15 points a game? We don't.
But I think the last time I seen a case like this where the treatment of a rookie made news, I would say Lonzo Ball when he first came into the league, where it made news.
That's true. Yeah.
That's about the last time I think, because it's typically like, hey, rookies, you're gonna get lumped up, you're gonna have your rough spots and all that. This is part of the initiation into the professional leagues. This is what happens. And it doesn't matter what sport it is what happens. But yeah, I think Lonzo Ball was the last time I seen this like this in regards to basketball, because we wasn't having this conversation this season about Wnba.
Nope, not at all.
No.
But I saw both fouls. I saw the foul on Angel Reese, and I saw the foul on Caitlin Clark.
Mm-hmm.
The Angel Reese foul was, was it bad? Yeah, because she was in the air.
Yeah, she flagrant too. She got kicked out. I mean, and it's no different from a Draymond Green foul. I mean,
yeah, she was in the air, and Shorty just kind of like knew she was there and reached back. She didn't grab her by the neck and choke slam her like the Undertaker, like they making it seem like. It wasn't even like that. It was just she knew she was there. She was in the air, and she just got pushed back, which is dangerous because you can't land right?
Yeah.
But it didn't get all of the tweets that a Caitlin Clark body check got. Like, you see the foul they did on Caitlin Clark, right?
I mean, I won't even listen. They upgraded it to a flagrant one. I don't even think it warranted that, honestly.
No, it was a bump. It was a bump. It wasn't on her face. It wasn't at her knees. It was body to body, a little shoulder check. You probably been bumped by people in the supermarket harder than that. Oh, my bad. And keep it pushing. But they tried to blow it up like, oh, they trying to take her out. Like, huh? Caitlin Clark wasn't even mad at the foul. But the media, like, this poor woman, why are they doing this?
I didn't, like I said, I didn't understand the outrage. I was like, when I saw the play, I was like, that's typical NBA. Like, that's typical basketball. Like, that's some shit you see at the Y or on the park. Like, that's a love tap. Like, youngin, I'm here.
Yeah, that was it. Just letting them know I'm right here. We was just talking shit to each other down the other end of the court, and I'm right here again too. It's just trying to get into their mental, get into their headspace to see if it works. If it worked, cool. If it don't, all right, well, I'm gonna just bump you all day until you decide to give up. But that's the nature of the game.
Yeah, very much so. And I think this conversation it'll be brought up again at some point during the season. But yeah, I'm just amazed that it's so much of an uproar about it. I get the casual fan who don't follow the game of basketball, but to hear like the Stephen A. Smiths and that ilk like go overboard with it, like she's being targeted. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, I smell butter biscuits, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if you think that's bad, go back and watch the Pistons and the Bulls from back in the day, the Knicks and the Bulls with the Jordan rules, and see what they was doing to him. And it wasn't even a flagrant. It was all right. Get up, shoot your free throws. Next play.
Yeah, it's that was like, hey, that's a hard foul.
Physical. Right. That's it.
Yeah, that's a hard foul. And I think casual fans, I think after this season, a lot of those casual fans will be gone because at the end of the day, she's doing what a rookie does, 15 a game. She's on a bad team that will be bad. all year long. It's no turnaround. And I think the fanfare will kind of fade away next season. Because it's a hype train around it, but it dies down when you're not winning.
Yeah, and plus it gives the casual fans a chance to learn what's normal in the game and what ain't.
Yeah.
So you'll keep some, but the ones who so outraged, you clearly don't understand competitive nature of sports. Like, this is nothing. Nothing happened. Let them play. Basketball is basketball, regardless who's playing, whether it's girls or guys. The only difference is girls don't dunk, but the game itself, put the ball in the hole. The physicality is matched by who's on the court being physical with each other. Girls is just as physical as the guys when it's a bunch of girls, and the guys is physical with each other. So the game itself is the game. People just got to understand what they're watching and not trying to victimize everybody that's a competitor at heart.
Yeah. I have my esteemed co-host here for the Friday shows. Dr. Nigga, how you doing?
I am well. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, you good, Nick.
Okay, so first of all, I am honored to be on the panel with the man with the dishpan hands, who has been lying to us by saying that he is a car technician, a mechanic technician. And we see what those hands do. They make gourmet meals and shit and pick grapes. So this is why.
Pick grapes.
They pick the grapes that we enjoy in our Hennessy and our those are cognac grapes. Talking about some seedless grapes. You make me sick. So let me drop a conspiracy on y'all. Are y'all ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
I think that the analysts are kind of pissed off that they even have to cover these games, because if it's on TV, you got to say something about it. So I think some of them are trying to kind of reaching a little bit to try to make a big deal out of something to draw excitement for themselves.
Well, I heard that too. I mean, it's ratings.
I mean, I know, but like you all were talking about how some of these like fouls are, and some of this little, the way women ball, like they can't be aggressive, or it's not some women in the WNBA who don't think that they're men everywhere they go and want to play like that, or as I said, you want to initiate the neos. It happens everywhere else. So what, women supposed to play a different form of basketball?
Right.
I mean, this is not college where you're worrying about remaining eligible because your scholarship is tied to it. Like, dang, who was that told Angel Reese to keep her money? He'll pay for her foul.
That was Lonzo.
Yeah,
Lonzo
you see
Ball.
what I'm saying? So this is nothing to them, especially with somebody coming to the league with $1 million endorsement. Okay, it's ball. If they're not complaining, then why are they trying to, the analysts trying to solicit people to try to look at and what you want to change the rules and make it so that, women have to play in skirts or whatever? Like, I don't understand.
No, they want the rules to change for her. You're not allowed to be aggressive. You're not allowed to be rough. Let's just be nice to her.
Why? Because she's white?
Meanwhile, the rest of y'all can just kill each other like y'all do,
Yeah.
like y'all been doing.
Right, but I think that there's some of this stuff is they're just reaching. And as I said, I'm disappointed with Stephen A. Smith, as I find myself being disappointed with him on a regular. It's like, dude, like, speak your truth. If you resent that you have to watch these games because you feel like they not on the caliber of the WNBA and you shouldn't have to comment on them, then don't. But don't come with this BS.
Well, yeah, he's a hot taker.
I mean, because their word has weight. So you will, like Dots was saying, you will impact what happens next year. It's not okay for you to, shit on, for lack of a better term, on what's forthcoming because of you feel like it's a waste of your time.
Yeah,
I agree. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
I mean, because I felt that way every time because we go to bed to Sports Center and wake up to Sports Center. Sometimes I don't want to hear his damn mouth, but I tough through it. Because it ain't but a few of us up there anyway. But I'm not, soliciting everybody to be like, yeah, we don't want to hear what he has to say because his mouth is too big and he's just too damn black. We don't, I don't understand. I don't. I thought Caitlyn was going to go to the WNBA and stink it up, and she did. She has. She's
Yeah.
stinking. She's rotten.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look, every
thinking
night.
about their standards. Yeah, by their standards. But I'm not. 15 is not bad for a rookie.
No,
It's not bad.
no.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Especially looking at her usage rate. She's the point guard. She got the ball more than anybody. And you better shoot. You was our number one pick. We ain't bring you in here for nothing. Get your shots up.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm a little disappointed because it wasn't that big of a break between when she graduated to now you playing. So you playing like you rusty or something. I don't know. I don't have words for it. She's not my favorite. I don't.
Now, I watched 2 games, I kind of suffered through them. I watched 2 games. She's not playing bad. But you have a bad team. And to me, you're performing to expectations, to my expectations, because I don't think no rookie comes in and just lights it up. Like, unless you're like one of those generational talents. And Caitlin Clark, I'm sorry, is not a generational talent. It's just not.
What
But
they want her to be.
That's and that's what I was going to say. They want her to be. They want her to come in and be the female version of Larry Bird. That's what they want. They want her to be the female version of Larry Bird, come in, and they thought the rest of the league was going to bow down and roll out the red carpet. No.
But
No.
was she that in college?
Well, see, college is different. It's we're talking about a much larger pool of players. So, not to say that she's not a talented player, but it's much easier to stand out in college. When you talking about the WNBA, you're not talking about that many roster spots being open. Like, everybody that's on a WNBA squad is somebody.
But was she the Larry Bird?
No.
Okay, so why is she? So you can't. If she won the Larry Bird in college, I don't understand how they expect her to be the Larry Bird in the WNBA.
Well, the casual fan was thinking her 30 a game was going to translate to the pros, and it's not happening like that yet. It may happen, but it may not.
But it did translate to the pros. It translated to 15.
Yeah. But that's the truth. Because look,
Right.
y'all gotta remember guys like Michael Beasley. He was averaging like 30, 40 in college. Got to the pros, man, maybe 12 on a good night. Can't hardly get no playing time, but was killing it in college.
Yeah.
It's different when you're amongst your peers. You're great. All right, we're gonna put you around a bunch of great players, and let's see if you can stand out amongst them. In college, everybody's not great. I'm trying to get this degree so I can pay off these student loans because I'm not good enough to go to the pros. And that's who Caitlin Clark was cooking.
Yeah.
Every
Absolutely,
team
and
that
she
you
should
play
have
is
been.
don't have one of those players on it. They got good players, but they ain't got every team don't have them dogs. Like, every team got about maybe 2 or 3 dogs, and they might not even play your position, so y'all won't even be matched up together. But in the pros, everybody's good. When I sit and talk to pros, I talked to Aaron McKee and I asked him, what was the biggest, culture shock for you when you made it to the pros? He said, everybody is strong, and everybody's fast. The last guy on the bench is fast as hell and strong as hell. And you got to be ready for that because it's a difference from where you coming from. And that's what she going through. Like, and she'll find a niche, whether it's 15 tonight or 16 tonight, but it ain't gonna be 28.
Right, but you also have to factor in the fact that not only are you playing older players, you're playing more seasoned players, and you're playing people who are comfortable in the game, not trying to learn it and find your spot and find your judge at this level.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we talk football and you talk about, a quarterback, whose team is in the Super Bowl, and let's say he was, only been in for 2 or 3 years, and they go up against a Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree.
Sometimes that experience and that season and that patience it takes for you to, not get excited and make some of those, rookie mistakes or young mistakes or naive mistakes that you make because you're excited about being in a Super Bowl for the first time. Somebody where, hey, we've been here several times before. You already know what it is, and you don't come with those same, pre-game jitters and all these other types of, nuances and environmental factors that come along with, experience and being seasoned and being there before normally takes over and wins the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody's talking about that.
Well,
they
let me
won't.
add this. Let me add this to the pot then. But do you think, I don't think the players' salaries are being accounted for. Like these WNBA players ain't making no money here.
Not at all.
So, the last thing they need is some rookie who's coming in and multi-million off the rip. And a lot of these players, I mean, I'm looking at the average, barely making 6 figures.
Yeah. But that's why Caitlyn is getting what she getting. Because it's like, I know your advertisers is watching this game, and I want them to see what I do to you so I can get a piece of that.
Yeah.
Because if they see me cooking you, they might come call me. So every night, somebody's going to come in that game and try to outshine you.
But see, that's a bad way of looking at things because that's just the way salaries go. Every class that comes in, they're gonna come in at a higher pay. Even the sorriest players gonna come in at a higher play than somebody. Well, that's the way it seems like it's going.
No, Caitlin Clark, and you can put Angel Reese in that category. This class here, a couple of players, they're the exception to the rule. Because a lot of the previous classes wasn't no fanfare, wasn't no multi-million-dollar deals going on. It was like, hey, you got drafted, get out there and play. A lot of them just like, hey, this is something to do to get their name out there, and they make their money overseas. That's what the real money is at.
But Dots, listen to me though. What I'm saying is that, and I know you know this, but just to make my point, you didn't have NIL deals with these women who were already in the league when these women came along. You didn't have social media presence. You didn't have a lot of things that these women have that were not available for these other women who were already, in the game 10, 12 years. So you're going to penalize these women because, stuff has evolved to where there are multiple ways for them to make money that maybe some of the older players aren't even utilizing?
I don't know. I mean, because I wouldn't say they're not utilizing it, but I don't think that stuff was available to a lot of these players at the time.
Right. And what I'm saying is that like them coming in, making more money, like all of that is a part of that package too.
I mean, but let's switch up from women's game to the NFL. You had veterans mad that rookies was coming in getting these big deals, and that's why they had to come up with the rookie salary cap for the NFL. Like, money plays a factor into it.
Right. And I think that they will right size the WNBA, like we call that right sizing. Right size the WNBA so it is a little bit more equitable, but if nobody comes in to kind of shake that up, then there's no need to have that conversation. So again, these women are pioneers in some regard to the way the game is going to have to change up. It's inevitable.
I don't see. I look at them as being anomalies. I don't see them being the new norm. I just don't.
We'll see.
I just don't like. They're trying maybe Juju Watkins out of USC because she's in the mix of signing maybe a Rock Nation deal. But other than that, I mean, the Angel Reese, that whole dynamic black white, like that's an anomaly. You just don't see that perfect storm for an advertiser anyway. Because there's been plenty of good white basketball players come out, but none with the fanfare of a Caitlin Clark for whatever reason.
Yeah, Sue Bird and Tarazi was tough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like they was good. Like you know what I mean? So
Hall of Fame good. Rebecca Lobo, like you just don't.
yeah.
I look at this, Caitlin Clark, and I throw Angel Reese in it. They're the anomaly. I mean, because literally, outside of them two, if it's not involving somebody fouling one of them, you're not really talking about the rest of the league. Maybe Asia Wilson, but for the most part, I don't know too many people can name the top 10 players in the WNBA.
Yeah. I looked it up today before the show to see who was the top 5 scorers.
Look at
And
the
I said, well,
overachiever.
damn, they all black.
Look,
Look
he done
at this.
started. Look, he done started cooking shit, and all of a sudden now you gonna come to the show and overachiever. What the hell, Speed?
I needed the stats, Nick. I needed the stats to make my point. Because you know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, I ain't heard of none of these girls' names, but I know this girl. So that's the way, social media now and the way they implementing it into everything. Like they're going to grab your attention, but again, once you make it to the top, it's going to be a culture shock because everybody good up here. Damn, everybody's tough.
All right, but let me
Absolutely, and
pivot.
they not starstruck. Like these women in the game are not your groupies,
Yep.
and they
Well,
not gonna treat you like it.
Well, they grown women. I want people to remember that. Also, you're talking about grown women with families and kids who are not impressed by
At
what you did
all.
in college.
Not the least bit.
But let me kind of pivot because I saw brother of a certain age drop it, and I don't know if he's got my damn notes, somehow. But NIL has been two big things in regards to NIL, and I wanted your thoughts on it. One, the first one is in Virginia. They passed a legislation to allow Virginia schools, and I'm talking about the colleges, to have direct NIL deals with the players. The previous format was you had to have them through like booster groups or the quote unquote super PACs or whatever. Virginia is the first one to pass this legislation. I think it's going to trickle down to other states also that says, hey, the schools can directly negotiate those NIL deals. Thoughts on that?
Better keep that transfer portal limited because you got bread tied to being here now. So that I think it's good because now you getting a reign on the transfer portal because you don't want players going from college to college. He done played for 3 different colleges 3 years straight. Yeah, I mean, just jumping in the transfer portal because it ain't working out where he at. Like that's not the college experience. You're supposed to be there to get you a little piece of education. You know what I mean? And make sure you can make more bread than everybody else when you get out. That's the whole point. But jumping in this transfer portal was like, all right, for the athletes, it's different. They can go to where they fit in at because they homies over there and work. You know what I mean? I think it's good that you get to stay at one particular college and finish your time.
Well, no, they can still
instead of jumping
transfer.
around.
They can still transfer. See,
With the deal?
Yeah, they can still transfer. Virginia is their thought process is going to reduce the amount of transfers portal, people leaving the university because we're able to negotiate directly with you instead of having to depend on a group to try to come together with this money.
No, but what I'm saying is like, let's just say you get your NIL from Georgia and you want to go to uh Chicago. Like you can't keep that NIL from Georgia in Chicago, can you?
Well, no. But you know, if you're talking about transferring instead of the school, like I said, instead of the school having to go to Speak Easy Group to
Mm-hmm.
try to pony up the money, we just cut you the fucking check of what you need. If you know, they're trying to find ways to reduce the amount of transfer. They're trying to control it. I mean, because
Right.
it's like you know, open season is wild. They're trying to find ways to control it in NIL, like allowing the schools to directly negotiate that instead of having to depend on groups is a way of trying to do that. I don't know how successful that's going to be, but I mean, it kind of cuts out the middleman.
Yeah, but it messes up this thing. Like with me, it's always about accountability. And I have seen how people misappropriate funds and, you know, move budgets around and, you know, spending money for, you know, allocating funds or things that have been dog-eared for this, move to that, and something, you know, robbing Peter to pay. I've seen all of that. And that's my only concern. I think that by removing those groups out or what have you, you know, we're going to see some accountability issues with regards to money being spent the way it's supposed to be spent and not used to, you know, and I'm just going to step out there and say that for stuff like deferred maintenance on, you know, campus or whatever. Like I see that being a problem. I understand the freedom of it and the mobility of it, but I again, accountability and transparency is problematic areas already. And I think that by removing that and giving them more money to misappropriate I mean, I think some people just can't help it.
Well, you know, I'll wait till you speak. You want to follow up on that before I get to the next NIL? Because if you're upset about that one, you're gonna really be upset what Florida just did.
Yeah, no, cook.
So Florida, 13 person vote, are allowing NIL deals for high school athletes. They're going to be making the deals with the athletes and their families, and be paying them the NIL money. Now we've talked a lot about college and transfers and all that. Now they're bringing it to high school in Florida. First state to do it like this. Your thoughts on that? NIL has hit high school. Is hit. Imagine a ninth grader getting an NIL deal because he's top 20 in the top 10 of the 2026 class.
Yeah. Hey, man.
I just say go back to our first conversation on this. I'm sorry, Speak.
No, I'm just saying, must be nice, man, because where these high schools getting this bread from?
I mean, but Florida, you know, Florida's big on sports, and some schools have access to you know, certain alumni and boosters, and you know, have let's call backroom deals with some universities that, hey, you know, we'll give you, you know, first dibs to, you know, talk to the next high school phenom. You know, if you're trying to recruit, we can facilitate that. I mean, it's Florida said the hell with it. High school athletes are now eligible to get NIL deals.
Damn, yeah, that's gonna be crazy. We gotta see how it work out. You know, are they gonna be developing powerhouses because the school with the most access to the funds gonna get all the players? Because who not gonna go get that bread?
But Speak, not only the powerhouses, you forgot that they lifted that whole DEI, you know, on the entire state. So I see powerhouses and, you know, and you know, race issues here. Like I can't.
I see a lot of private schools and charter
Exactly.
schools finna come up off of this talent. And what, you know, Florida is very talent rich when it comes to sports. I see a lot of charter schools and private schools becoming even more of a powerhouse.
Absolutely.
With what Florida's doing, because It used to be, you had to move there or have somebody's address to stay there to play at that school. Now it's like, now you coming with the bread on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Well, everybody gonna be playing for IMG now. Like,
Everybody in the
damn.
state of Florida.
Yeah, like IMG. They got the bread. They got everything.
Man,
Jeez.
Then you're gonna have a monopoly on, college is recruiting from just that one school. That's a. But you know what? If anybody's gonna fuck something up, it's gonna be Florida.
yeah, unanimous. I want to put that out unanimously. I just look at, when you're talking about the players, then you're talking about dealing with the families, and that could be a whole messy situation. And, because we've talked about this, about the player feeling like they have some kind of authority now in the house because they are providing.
The breadwinner.
Yep. The youngin. It's going to destabilize a whole lot because you're going to go from being broke, barely making it to having everything, and you still a kid. You even what? You're in the 9th grade talking shit. What?
I'm looking at it even worse than that. How about some booster or something that's like, hey, I know your parents are trying to get you to sign this deal with but I want you to sign the deal here. And the kid, I mean, at the end of the day, what if he says he doesn't want to play for that school? And the family tries to sign a contract. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, the family gonna be like, nah, you going there. Why? Because that's where you going. You paid for.
Man, the legal ramifications, like how do you, let's say, that happens, Speak tells Lil Speak, you got to go play for IMT, and Lil Speak says, you know what, I ain't playing ball this year. Is that a violation of the deal?
Oh, it's gonna be some legal things tied to it. Yeah. You cut out on this. You owe us what we gave you, which you already spent. We want all that back. It's gonna be something tied to it now, But I mean, when you look at it though, it done switched. The polarity done switched, because back in the day, before the O'Bannon brothers did what they did, you couldn't pay these kids nothing. You couldn't even get these kids a pair of shoes without them getting in trouble. So
Absolutely. And that was
mean,
for a very serious reason, as far as trying to stack the doggone deck. And
yeah, now they throwing the bread like, here. Y'all wanted it, y'all got it. Take this money. What's it gonna do, y'all? I don't know.
Yeah, if complete. But like you said, Florida's, they're the test tube dummies for everybody else. I don't think it's going to work. Well, college, you're talking about dealing with, legal age adults. High school.
Yeah, that high school is way different.
So, okay, y'all, let me throw this out there. And again, I'm just so glad that you have a child in high school that's worth talking about. I'm just kidding.
Terrible.
So okay, so when we start talking about these NILs, I don't think people are considering like all the different people who may not necessarily be in those talks, who have the ability to step in there. I could not see my child in high school who's not old enough to drink being sponsored by Budweiser.
Oh yeah, they probably got a leash on some of those. Like, yeah, no drinks. You know what I mean? Here, wear this wristband. Take this soda that's not sponsored by any other, beer company. They're gonna be little nice going.
I understand that, but I'm just talking about where it looks and where this has the ability to go, because of, you know, people actually needing that money, and and you're just, I mean, next it'll be okay, we're gonna start looking at them in middle school, and as soon as they're old enough to, you know, play AAU ball in elementary school or whatever, get on a team or so on and so forth. I just see this as just being problematic, and I really, really feel that you have, you know, youngsters under the influence of their parents, you know, up until a certain age for a reason. And a lot of that is just due to the fact that, okay, if you're going to make a dumb decision, it's going to be at these particular ages, although we do see them playing out as adults. But to me, I think the earlier you're able to make these types of mistakes, you know, the worse off you're going to be in the long run. And I really just see, you know, these people actually just trying to remove that whole parental supervision part from this and say, hey, you know, bump the fact that you are the one who's supposed to shepherd this person into adulthood. Let's just, you know, let this money thing take over, and, you know, exploit your kids even at a younger age, because basically that's what it is at the end of the day. It's exploiting their likeness and their image so that whoever is sponsoring them can do well. It ain't about how the child's going to do or how the family's going to do or what kind of person this person's going to grow up to be. And I find that just so problematic.
Well, you brought up. I wanted to piggyback to something you said. You talked about the Budweisers and that stuff. Shouldn't that same conversation be had at the college level? Because
Well, it is. Because you remember, I was telling you when we talked about this before, how, you know, this is problematic with some of the HBCUs, and the reason why some of them don't have some of the sports facilities and things that they have, because they won't take, you know, these dollars from, you know, alcohol like Hennessy and Budweiser and all. It's not that they don't want to offer the money to them. They just don't, for ethical reasons. They don't want to support these things as something that's a problem in the Black community. And therefore they are kind of left behind because they won't take these pots of money. So that's a conversation that's already been considered, and a reason why some of them are, you know, have to can't compete on certain levels. They don't have the facilities nor the money to do so. For those very reasons. And I'm speaking factual, like what I know for sure. You know, they don't want the, you know, Budweiser coming and, you know, labeling the seats and you know, they just like a lot of these, especially the private ones, because most of those are sponsored by churches, whether it's AME Zion, AME, Baptist, Methodist Church. They don't want to have anything to do with the alcohol and tobacco. And these people are offering multi-million-dollar like they will come in and revamp your entire, you know, grounds just to be able to advertise for that, and they say no.
Well, let me ask you this, because you're in that environment. Do you agree with that stance?
I do.
Okay. I mean, I'm you know, maybe because I'm not in that environment, but I look at it like you should. There's no way for them to kind of take advantage of what that can bring. You know, if you're looking at it from that standpoint of, you know, improving the facilities, improving, you know, the life of a college student, like, what's it worth to you? I don't know.
Right, but you're bringing alcohol already into an environment that you want to be smoke free and alcohol free, so that these people can not be statistics.
I mean,
so, you know, of course,
it's already
no, right. No, it is, but it's kind of, it would be hypocritical of the school to be saying stuff about it if those same people are sponsoring your schools. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I get if you don't want your players in commercials, but, you know, are you really harming the brand by putting, you know, Budweiser on the seat? And you know, because it's you know, it's not like that stuff is not already there. I mean, I've been plenty, you know, I don't go to the games too often, but I do like to do the tailgating and all of that stuff on the outside of the stadium. Like, it's already there. It's already part of the culture. Why not, you know? And if you want to negotiate how this,
but that's an event, drama. Listen, I mean, Dodge, it's an event, not like a part of the college and its brand.
Okay. I mean, I hear you. I'm just kind of like maybe I'm thinking along those lines,
And
like
I see your point. I mean, the money, of course they could use it. Of course they could use it. But I think that for the powers that be and, board of trustees and the legacy and the history of why we even have these schools, it's not worth it.
Wait, Nikki, you trying to say when you was at your little frat parties, y'all ain't had no alcohol there? Y'all was just drinking juice?
I played the fifth. I didn't see a damn thing.
Hey, Todd.
all right, listen, that's what now let me ask you this, Dr. D. If they was able to without all the heavy-handed promotion, would you be open to that as an option?
Without the heavy-handed promotion, absolutely. Like if they could be silent partners and not seen, yes.
Okay. So if they was just like, hey, we just want our name on the stadium and our name on the seats.
No, can't be on the stadium.
Oh well, let's keep negotiating. Let's keep negotiating. We
could put your name on the trash cans.
Okay.
We can put your name on the gate.
Name on the seats?
No.
Why not?
Because that's a visible part, especially when people are not filling up the seats. So it's like you're going to be seen. I have to keep it real. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like those are sold out. They're only sold out around homecoming, and you want to just keep it a buck.
Oh, I mean, I know, but I'm looking at it, through the lens of like, maybe a reduced level of exposure, but access to them kind of funds for some cosmetic stuff.
You gotta get something up, Nick. I mean, we trying to compete with the with the Kentuckys and the LSUs. So, you know what I mean? Just let them put a little sticker on every chair. All right, the 3-inch sticker that say Budweiser. You can't hardly see it unless you zoom in.
No, because that's what they would zoom in on. They wouldn't be watching the game. Like, how can these black schools? We know that alcoholism, is a problem. Is the demise of the black family and the absent parenthood is all because of Budweiser. And you send them to the school with Budweiser sponsoring the goddamn game. Yeah. These students ain't learning shit at these schools. I can already hear it. Like, no. And again, that's what kind of sets us apart. Like liquor, alcohol is really not a part of our culture. Like it's not.
I hear you. I'm just I'm trying to find angles to see if we can get this to work, because
trust me, and people have sat down and fought long and hard to try to find an angle to justify taking that money, and it's just a no-go. I don't know anyone who's going to want to sponsor and give up those dollars and not want to be seen in a very huge way, even if it's the signs, on the street, on the light post coming down the street where the school is located. It's just not, they're not gonna, it's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen.
Now, do you think that mindset is keeping HBCUs from getting some of that TV deal money that's floating around?
Possibly.
I want to say, was it NBA signed a $76 billion deal with between 3 networks? I mean,
yeah, it is. I mean, it is, and those are the breaks. I mean, and it's like this is why some of this other stuff is more important to try to be a little bit more equitable, because these non-black schools are already getting those dollars.
Yeah.
Like it's a given that they're gonna get those dollars.
Yeah. All right. Well,
like, speaking of Roll Tide, I'm sure they drunk as a MF going, in front of the TV, wanting to talk about the after game stats and what the hell happened with a Budweiser can in the damn, in the hand. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't gonna see that coming from no HBCU. You're not gonna. It's not gonna happen.
I just look at it as, from the outside looking in. I understand you don't want to fully embrace the culture, but you're kind of limiting yourself, and I think the student body may end up suffering due to the lack of having top-notch facilities.
Yeah, you got to take the money, Nick. Just take the money, and we'll sort everything out later. All right.
No, you don't have to have a top notch. You don't have to have a top notch facility when you got people who will play basketball at the playground with no nets. And, no, we don't need all of that. We just needed to be 10. We just needed regulation.
No, Nikki, you cannot speak for the players. We want nets. Don't nobody want to go to the court with no nets on it. All right.
No, I understand that, and I'm being facetious about a serious issue, but that's just the way it is. But it seems like that translates into everything across the board. Because you won't play games, you won't play ball here. We're going to make sure that when it comes to the Department of Education, who Budweiser does not sponsor, as far as federal dollars, we're going to give y'all the least amount of the lion's share here as well. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, if we're willing to give up certain things, then why can't we be at the top of the list in other things?
You got to start somewhere, though, right, Nick?
Listen, it won't be there. It will not be with an alcoholic beverage of your choice. It just won't. It just
about a non-alcoholic beverage? How about O'Doul's?
No, because no, you did not speak. Drop speak. Where is the trap door? But that's just the reality of it. And I'm glad again that Dots has provided a space for us to even have these types of conversations, because these NIL deals and the sponsorships that can come as a result of that really is going to start changing up the landscape of stuff to where people might have to start looking at that and, kind of giving a little on that stronghold of that hard no to these particular sponsors, because they have the money and they want to give it up.
Yeah, I think eventually,
especially for their diversity quota.
Yeah, I think HBCUs should really revisit it, and really take a hard look at what impact that really would have on the university, because you're limiting yourselves, and like I said, with the facilities. I look at it from that kind of standpoint, that the money that could be used to upgrade facilities, upgrade campus life for the students, just by saying Budweiser on the seat. I'm just saying.
I know, but if Budweiser would just stay out the hands, we keep it on the seats, but it just don't work like that. It just does not work like that. And it just, again, it's one of the hallmarks of an HBCU. You just don't see that when you come to our campuses. You just don't. And you got some PWIs like East Carolina University, and I say that because I used to live in Greenville. Like all of downtown is nothing but, alcoholic beverage sponsored or what have you for their schools. But, when you start reporting the things that happen as a result of people being inebriated, those things don't make the news. But let it happen one time at a frat party at an HBCU and it makes national headlines.
I hear you. But
especially when they start talking about hazing and things like that, they automatically assume that alcohol is involved. So it's like, if we don't have those sponsors, that at least cuts back on something.
I hear you. Let me give y'all final words. I gotta take me a break.
You need a word of prayer. You need to go in your prayer closet. And Speak needs to go wash his hands for dinner.
What's for dinner tonight? Speak. A rack of lamb that you slaughtered yourself.
Brisket with au jus sauce.
Man, my wife saw that shit. The Speak put up. She's like, "Damn, they Speak doing that?" I was like, "Don't get no ideas. Do not get no ideas."
That's why I didn't even put any guesses as far as what the ingredients are. Because I'm not cooking that shit. That's why. No.
Oh man, y'all right. See, I get cooked for cooking. I ain't.
I said, leave it up to Speak. No wonder.
Oh man, y'all wow. But man, shit. Look, my final words is Nikki, this game is brought to you by O'Doul's. The first black sponsored non-alcoholic beverage. Drink as much as you want. You won't get drunk.
So by way of old dudes, you can be Irish at a black school. How about that?
Let it work for you. Let it work for you.
Well, I echo Speak sentiment, and as always, Dots, you already know what it is, and I look forward to my Fridays.
Yeah,
With any topic. I mean, man, this gives me so much life.
I got something special tonight because one of my favorite people, Miss Murph, has been on the target board, and I don't take too kindly.
We got gray hoodie today.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Hold on, let me get my drink. Yeah. I'm
Is
be right
that show
there, Jack.
sponsored by old dudes as well, or are we getting Budweiser?
We getting hit
we're going straight red stripe.
Yeah. Driver took the NIL, so this is straight Hennessy.
Oh. With those cognac grapes, especially picked by the one and only the Speakeasy 1, 2, and 3.
We got hoots.
Lord have mercy. Yeah, I'm in the mood tonight.
Well, we'll be there, and Speak will be there to make sure that you don't forget that you are in the mood, okay?
Hoodies and popcorn, baby. Hoodies and popcorn.
Oh, for sure. Well, I'll drop a few beer bottles down in the chat. Yeah. Since it's sponsored by Old Dudes with my black ass. For sure. For sure. So as I said, as always, fellas, y'all are two of my favorite people in the universe, not just in this virtual world, but in the universe. And I said it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Deuces on behalf of Old Dudes with my sober self.
All right, Nick. All right, Dots. I'm gonna let you go. Get the great hoodie, y'all. Nap. Why?
Yeah, man. This.
Yeah, lot to talk about. I already know you got your notes. Lot to talk about.
Speak. You know how I craft it, man. Watch how I put this shit together.
I'm right there. You ain't let me down once, man. So I'll be right there, Jack. Let's go.
Watch how I put this shit together. Listen, one of them ones. Gonna be one of them ones.
Gonna be a crazy one.
Yeah. All right, Speak. I see you over there, man.
Lady Rupp.
All right. Yeah, Miss Murph. We're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna have a little fun tonight. Thank you everybody for coming out, checking me out tonight, man. Freestyle Friday is always a good time. I love doing these shows. We get together. Brother of a certain age, I didn't miss your question earlier. If you're still here, what do I think about Hurley possibly coaching the Lakers? Better move than JJ Redick. Give me a guy who has won in college. And I will say this, the Lakers pursuing him reminds me of the Lakers pursuing Coach K back when Kobe, RIP, Kobe was playing for the Lakers. It reminds me of that same kind of situation. If the question comes, it's not can the Lakers pay him? Does he want to leave the college lifestyle? But yeah, if Hurley is the head coach, it's a big upgrade over Darvin Ham to me. A big upgrade over a possible JJ Redick. So yeah, I'm down with it for sure. My ride to the satellite is here. Yes, Ms. VS, satellite ready. Some people might catch some strays. I'm in the mood tonight. But yes, it's always, man, I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, leave comments. Next week, we'll kind of see. Like I said, I'm starting to get into the NFL mode. We'll talk about the NBA Finals, of course, next week, and we'll kind of go from there. End you off with the phrase that pays over here. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but every time you learn. And I'm out.